should be loaded. Very confused, but welcome back to the JP and Trav show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel, also live from Travis's X. As always, to host from the most JP. And to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother and friend, and as you can see, Dr. Shen's #1 fan, Travis J. Davis. And Travis, what's up, bro? How we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great. Ready for this. Honestly, this week to be, it's a bye week, and it's been a busier week than I can imagine when it comes to sports in this state in a long time, right? I mean, you've got Gundy after 20 full seasons getting fired a month into the season. You get Mateer hand surgery. You get the demigod status of Dr. Stephen Shin. You get, the new SEC schedule is being released. You get 2 monster offensive linemen committing this morning. Like, it feels like we've been through 2 weeks worth of news, maybe a month worth of news. It's only been 3 days, and it's a bye week. Like, I'm glad we don't have a game this week because I don't think I could handle all the content. I know my guy Jalen Ross could handle the content, though, because he is the consummate professional. What's up, Jalen?
And a lot is up, as you just mentioned, but I appreciate the kind words, Travis. It's good to be back with y'all. It's been a while, actually.
It has. It has indeed been a minute, and I always say, he's got an amazing name. He's an amazing dude and doing some good stuff. But I'm JP, but my real name is Jalen. So and it's spelled the correct way. No Y. Exactly. We can't stand the Y's. So yeah, man. How are you doing? How's life treating you? What you've been up to since you last been on the show, and then we'll obviously get into the crazy Sooners news week.
Yeah, man, it's been good. It's been no shortage of busy. Just started up sophomore year here at OU, so that's been pretty fun. But it's starting to get intense, obviously, as we get into midterm season. And then I honestly don't even know if I was doing this when I last came on the show, but currently in season 2 as the wide receivers coach over at Mount St. Mary High School up in the city. So we got game day tomorrow, which will be a pretty fun contest. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned so much throughout this process.
Is Drew still on staff over there?
He's not. He's actually the QB's coach up at El Reno now. But
he and I were together doing him at the show. I forgot. Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah. He and I were together a year ago. He was the OC. I was also the receivers coach then, and then we welcomed the new OC this year. But it's been a lot of fun. We're off to a pretty good start, but we got a lot of work to do. If we want to get to where we want to go. So. Those have been the 2 biggest things keeping me busy. Travis, I know you mentioned it with the Instagram account. Obviously, that's just kind of, it's somebody asked me earlier today, like, how many hours do you put in on that? And I'm like, well, it depends on the week.
This week been nuts, bro.
It's kind of weird. I literally was thinking to myself before all the material stuff came out, I was like, I'm going to probably make just a funny little bi-week post about, like, hope nothing happens. It's just pray it's a chill week, and sure enough, we get the biggest storyline in college football. So, I know we'll get into that more and more, but yeah, no, it's impossible to have a week around here where something crazy is not happening. So,
hey, best sport in the world, right?
Yep.
I will say when I went to text JP, I typed Jalen into my contacts, and I just thought this was funny. I was like, oh, okay, well, I got both Jalen's. I was like, oh, man, I'll text Jalen. I started typing it in. I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. So I screenshot it. I only have 3 Jalen's in my phone. You
Yeah,
too.
my old number's in there somewhere.
And I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you guys are in good company, Super Bowl champion.
Oh yeah,
So
100%.
so
That's
I
legit.
so people out there that are about to have boys, name your kid Jalen.
Yep,
The
exactly.
best name. That's
Either
the
you'll
best.
be an AD, a wide receivers coach, and social media / content creating / media phenom in Jalen Ross, or you'll be a Super Bowl champion. So odds are good. Odds are good. So yeah, I mean, let's get right into it, man. Craziness right off the top. First of all, like let's start with the Gundy stuff. Because I know people, look, I don't have a timeline from here. Ain't nobody got a timeline from here. So if you can't, just keep it pushing. But like, what were y'all's first reaction to seeing Mike Gundy, head coach, 20 years, full seasons, winningest coach in Oklahoma State history, been at Oklahoma State, what, 35 of the last 40 years, something like that?
Yeah.
Like, what were your guys' reactions to a month in to the season, not even addressing the team finding out about it on social media, they pull the plug? What were your guys' reactions?
Jalen, go ahead, man. I'll follow up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it wasn't a surprise. I think it was just kind of a, when is this going to happen kind of thing. Um, I do think, for me, it's weird just being uh, so young because, like, I told someone a few hours ago that, like, he's the last of my era, pretty much, as far as coaches that I remember. I mean, really, the last one left is Dabo, and we that could be another one that pops up in the next few months. But um, yeah, it was definitely more of a not if but when kind of situation in my eyes. I think I see a world where Oklahoma State can compete in this era because of the just the way that things are going now with NIL and all that stuff. But um, I think it's a situation for Gundy where, like, at some point he is going to have a statue there. I think they very well could name the field after him at some point. Like, he is Oklahoma State football, and arguably Oklahoma State University, but it's definitely a crazy situation. I mean, I did think it was really cool to see um, the tweet. I don't remember who I saw it from, but I'm guessing he addressed the team at practice or something like that yesterday, and kind of gave them some instructions on what to do to Baylor this weekend. So, I think I don't know if it's a situation for him. I doubt that there's any hard feelings just because of how much he invested into Oklahoma State, and uh, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think just what 2 years ago they were a 10-win team, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, the year they beat Oklahoma, and then of course last year was terrible, and then not off to a hot start this year. So I think Oklahoma State is as a whole is just in a weird spot. I mean, obviously their president, I think, was fired a few months ago, and then the athletic director is probably on his way out too, and then your head football coach is gone. So it's definitely an interesting time to be at Oklahoma State, and I've heard a number of OU fans who I know that can't stand OSU that have said they feel bad for the people of Stillwater and everything that's going on up there. So it's a crazy situation, but again, and I do think it's weird also. I don't know what good it does you to do it in the middle of the season, but I do think at the same time, there was going to be no running away from the Fire Mike crowd, and I have a feeling I think he knew it was coming, just kind of the way that he's been, um, I guess, dealing with it. I know he hasn't necessarily spoken to the media or anything like that, but there's kind of that. I remember seeing this. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I remember seeing whenever Jason Garrett was on his way out as a head coach. That was kind of one of those things where, like, we clamored for it for years, And that last game against Washington, he's playing on the field with his kids, and everyone kind of was like, "Yeah, he knows that that's it." And Mike Gundy walked off the field after the Tulsa game, doing the OSU alma mater, and I think that was kind of that like, yeah, he knows it's over moment. So, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know if I think we were having this discussion earlier. I mean, I don't think he's one of those coaches where like schools are just kind of sitting down and saying, we got to go get Mike Gundy.
I don't think he coaches again.
Well, see, I think I'm on the side of I think his coaching, I feel like it's just when you do it for so long, I think you either have that, hey, I'm done, and more power to him. I mean, look, you get to chill in Stillwater, sitting on what's his buyout, $15 million, more than that probably. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I would, but I think it wouldn't shock me at all if he gets that. Does the Kevin Sumlin, take a year off and then someone makes a call and he gets back into it. I don't know, but yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting time for sure. I mean, it's going to be weird to see somebody else leading that football program.
So you bring up Sumlin. I think he's more likely to go the way of Stoops and go to like a UFL, like a XFL type vibe, like no NIL, no recruiting, no like just have fun to go coach. You know what I mean? Like you get to actually coach football, like, and that's all you have to do is coach football. Like I think that's what he wants to do. And like, here's the thing, like I'm no Gundy defender by any means. I appreciate what he's done for the university, for the Big 12, for the state of Oklahoma, coaching, winning a lot of games, bringing a lot of notoriety. I've known a ton of people that have played for him. Some that love him, some that don't. But here's the thing: when it comes to the leadership side, he tied their hands. Like I've had employees that thought they were, the business couldn't survive without them, and it's at that point you got to let them go. You know what I mean? It's funny because from Oklahoma's side, when they lost their coach, it was very much, hey, look, no one man's bigger than the program, right? The program is bigger, and the problem is everybody. From if your last name's Gundy, if your last name's Allen, and the last name's anything, you just assume Mike Gundy is OSU football, and he became bigger than it. And a lot of people just thought he could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and that's just simply not the case. He alienated donors, so he cut off his own money supply, and then wants to complain about not having money, but he's not doing anything to raise the money. My thing is, if this is, and I've used this kind of analogy, but if this is my chip right here, that's my greatest coach in Oklahoma State history chip. And that's kind of my like get out of jail free card. Like that I had to cash that in on my 0-9 season. You can't take a team that you just went to the conference championship game with and then go 0-9 in the Big 12 with them. That's your chip. Like that's your benefit of the doubt. Hey, I didn't win a single game in the Big 12 this year. Here you go. I'm the best coach in your history. You have to keep me for another year. And Chad Weiberg says, cool. You didn't want to retire after that year? Like we gave you the opportunity? Cool. But this year you're kind of on probation. And then all you do in this year while you're on probation is lose by the largest margin since you became a state in 1907. That's how bad they lost to Oregon. Since they became a state. Like that historic ass whooping. And then the next time you see the field, you get beat for the first time since 1951 on your home turf against Tulsa. So, like, at that point, I'm sorry, you got to go. Like, at a certain point, if the arm has a disease, I don't care how many touchdowns that arm's thrown. If it's about to kill me, I got to cut the arm off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like, build him his statues, name the field after him. Write stories about him, produce 30 for 30s about him. But at the end of the day, you can't just have a guy holding the athletic department hostage with a lifetime achievement award. He wasn't going to win a Big 12 game this year. They're 21-point favorites or dogs to Baylor, like 21-point dogs to Baylor. And this is not a top 5 Baylor team. So I just think like Gundy, take the 15 mil, go chill with your turtles. You've been telling us for 10 years how much you hate the sport. You can hate the sport by not having to coach it anymore. God bless you. You're a Hall of Famer. Go straight to the Hall of Fame. And if you retire right now, you'd start your Hall of Fame clock. Like that's why Gary Patterson never got into full-time coaching again. Like there's a Hall of Fame clock. You have to be retired for a certain amount of years before you're eligible for the Hall of Fame. And
Yeah.
I think Gundy is going to go straight to the Hall of Fame. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to Vegas because that's going to be a party. So on to the Sooners, I suppose, unless JP, you got anything to add to our conversation?
No, I mean, I think you could see the writing on the wall. Ooh, sorry, iPad slip. You can see the writing on the wall, and um, he wasn't willing get into this new NIL era. He wasn't willing to play the game, and obviously, Dan Lanning called him out at the beginning of the year, and Oregon spanked him real good. So. Yeah, I just think that it's probably time for him to move on. Like you said, he kind of probably got too comfortable and became bigger than the university, and at some point the university's got to move on. But really, she's or he's going to be the one that people look at when they think about Oklahoma State, right? I mean, over the last 20 years, you don't think about Oklahoma State without Mike Gundy. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But you know what, Kirby, if you want a podcast so bad, bro, just start one, fam. Okay, because we got people that actually got jobs out here. I just got back from winning a volleyball game. Okay, so I don't have time to have a perfect stand up here. I'm just trying to get on here for the fans, for all 1,000 people that are in here. But I digress. Do we want to review the game first, boys, or do we want to talk? We got so much to talk about. What are we thinking?
I'm in.
You muted, Trav.
We back? All right, there we go. Yeah, I think we talked the Mateer stuff, because that's what's on everybody's mind. And then we go into the Auburn game, which, God, they're still complaining about. They're releasing statements, man. Like, oh, man, JP losing that phone, man. Kirby going to come for you, man.
I know he is. I know.
But let's talk Mateer. Let's talk Mateer. Ross, where were you whenever you saw that you saw the notification from OU football that John Mateer was going to have surgery on his throwing hand?
So I was so this is I'll get into that in a little bit, but I was in my car leaving campus, and so just to kind of backtrack a little bit, I'd heard before the game that he was probably a little dinged up. Now, it wasn't the thumb, but we kind of sit around the office and talk sometimes, and I'm the resident OU fan on the coaching staff, so we just kind of talk ball. And one of the things that got brought up was how Mateer takes too many unnecessary hits, and I agree with that. I think he does take some unnecessary hits, and I vividly remember against Temple, I remember him getting up slowly on one play. So kind of wasn't surprised to hear that he was a little dinged up going into the game. And then during the game, one of my friends had sent me a text in the first quarter and said Mateer broke his thumb. I'm like, well, how? Like, he looks fine to me, and I mean, he's playing like he didn't go to the tent. Like, he looks just fine. I think he's okay. And of course, he finished the game, and not only did he finish the game, he got better throughout the game. So my thinking was, all right, maybe he probably just a little, maybe jammed it. I don't know. Could be something simple. So when this news came out, I was a little shocked, but not like super taken back. It was just like, dang, okay, like it's serious. And there was kind of a situation. Someone had commented on one of my posts the day before, saying that they knew someone who was friends with a member of the staff at OU, not a coach, but a business guy, I guess, in the football program, and it was kind of one of those, a friend of a friend said this situation. So I just kind of ignored it, and I was like, all right, he's probably just talking. But he was right, and he said that there was some word that Mateer would be out for a few weeks. And I was like, okay, this is getting kind of weird. And then sure enough, the story comes out. So a little bit shocked, yes. I will say it's been a little bit funny hearing the way the student body has reacted to it, because you'd think he died, the way that people are approaching this. So we actually have this app called Yik Yak, and it's like an anonymous version of
Yik
Twitter.
Yak.
Yeah, and it's the thing down here on campus, and I'm scrolling through just reading what people are saying, and people are joking around. They're like, "Oh, candlelit vigil on the South Oval for John Mateer at 7:30." Like, I mean, it's been insane. Like, even yesterday when I got to campus, like 10 people already asking, "Well, what's going on? What happened?" So it's obviously been the talk of the town, and like um, I mean, they're literally. I remember sitting around listening to some of my friends, and they're having full blown "Where were you when?" conversations. Like, seriously, you would have thought John Mateer got shot or something, because they were like, "Oh, I was in the union. I was in class, and I got the notification." I'm like, I mean, it's been crazy. I've never like it's been a while since I've seen something like this. Not only with the way that people have reacted to it, but also to, of course, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but the way that people are going on about Stephen Shin as well. Like, I mean, he's the most popular man in college football right now, and it's crazy to see that. So, I think I've been a little, I wasn't too shocked, but I think my reaction was more of like okay, I mean, as long as he's not out for an extended period of time, I mean, if you don't have him for Kent State, you're fine. I mean, so I wasn't really losing sleep over it, but it's definitely a crazy thing. But I mean, it's great to hear that he's back in Norman, and I'm sure he'll be ready in no time.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, I was actually because I'm the vice president of the OU Club of Tulsa, so we were in a meeting, and my phone is just going nuts. I'm like trying to like shut it up. I'm like, "God, I'm in a meeting. Finally, as we wrap up the meeting, I look at my phone and I was like, oh my God. I was like, John Mateer's out for, at that point, like people were texting me like, oh my God, John Mateer's out 8 weeks, whatever, speculating and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yo, what is going on? So no, it was wild. And my thing is like, I've been on a few shows, like I think I was on TV Tuesday and yesterday. And then I was on Ghost and Friends on Inside Texas yesterday, and then I was on radio or yesterday and whatnot. Anyways, everybody has asked me, what's the timeline? What's the timeline? I'm like, dog, yeah, Kirby, you're right. My phone is always going off regardless. But it's like, what's the timeline? I'm like, first of all, two things. One, there's no way to know the timeline until after the surgery. Simple as that. Like, no way to know. Like, there's 27 bones in the hand, and there's infinite degrees of injury that can happen to all 27 of those bones. Like, and infinite degrees of doctors that can operate, infinite degrees of biology, like just people's recovery time and pain tolerance and, whatever, bone healing. Like, infinite number of those. But also, like, if I'm preventables, I'm not just saying a damn word about a timeline. Why would I? I have the opportunity to, I don't have to give an availability report this week, right? Because it's bye week. I don't have to give an availability report next week because it's Kent State. So I can go into Texas and just list John Mateer as questionable and make Texas prepare for two quarterbacks. Now, I have no expectation that John Mateer is going to start at Texas. I'm not ruling him out by any means, but I'm not going into that week just expecting it. That's just not a guy who sets myself up for failure. But I don't know. I feel confident with Mike Hawkins, especially given the improved offensive line, the improved play calling, the improved defense, the improved wide receivers, the improved tight end play, I mean, it's improved literally everywhere. So, yeah, I'm cool with Hawkins starting, but I'm not going to speculate on timeline, and I don't think Brett Venables should either.
Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, we believe, and I think the coaching staff believes in Michael Hawkins Jr., especially for Kent State, right? We've seen him play last year. I made a little quip at the Auburn fan base, which we'll get into here in a bit, because because they're like, oh, like haha, like karma, be at because you guys cheated, like John Macher got hurt, and I'm like, oh, it's all right, like backup quarterback just beat you guys, at Auburn last year, but whatever. And obviously that was a team win. Like Kip Lewis, did his thing in the fourth quarter, but Michael Hawkins made some plays in there too, and I think a full year, half a year really with Ben and an actual quarterbacks coach. I think we see kind of what he turns into, right? And the staff, everything from that we heard from Summer was that he was right there with John, right? And I don't know if we should take that literally or not, but I mean, hey, as far as I understand it, he's ready to roll. So I think that whether he's back for Texas or not is certainly a big deal. Like I think we our defense is great. Don't get me wrong, but depending on what kind of production we can get running the ball, I think that'll make all the difference for Texas, and we'll see what he looks like come up at Kent State. But yeah, as far as timeline, I'm not necessarily concerned about it. I would imagine he may be back for South Carolina. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's again. I think it's a very clear path forward. Don't say a damn word.
Yeah.
Let John Mater rest. But outside of that, let's talk about this Auburn game.
Man, I've not seen. I don't know the last time I've seen a fan base whine so much. Like it's been.
I also think that it was wildly irresponsible for the SEC to come out with a statement about a play.
Yes.
Like Oklahoma talk, just like every game, like Jalen, this goes. It's like you have your meeting with the officials before, like in that game week. You get assigned your officials. You have, just like in TV, you have your production meetings. You have your officials meetings. You say, hey, number 76 on the other team, man, look, we brought all this film, man. He's beholden all the time. You need to watch for that. Or, hey, man, this receiver pushes off all the time. Or these guys run rub routes all the time. Or this, that, and the other. And then you bring up plays that, any trick plays or any linemen that are going to, hey, man, this guy might declare himself eligible. This is what we want to run. We want to clear it through you. That's what Oklahoma did, man. They did what they were supposed to do. They were like, hey, look, we're going to run this play. We want to make sure that we run it to a degree that does not reach the level of illegality. And that it didn't because the refs didn't throw the flag. And they review all scoring plays, and they didn't throw the flag then. So that the people that were involved in approving this play approved the play. So Auburn can call us cheaters and no good, this, that, and the other. Like, all right, whatever, man. It's a W in the column. Y'all took the L. Y'all better get ready for the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies because y'all kick off in less than 48 hours of that statement, and you guys better stop issuing statements and, woe is me, and they feel bad for us and all this. Like, bro, y'all got a game to play. Don't let this thing beat you twice because it's on the verge of beating you twice. What do you think, Jalen?
I've never been one to be of the opinion that one play shouldn't affect the entire game, especially early. And I'm also not one that wants to, I don't like to play the official blame game. Now, there's no question that the officiating was terrible on both sides of the ball. Missed PI calls on our end, missed PI calls on their end, missed holds, missed everything. I mean, it was terrible. But I think the simple fact is you would imagine all that needs to be said about this whole thing is that Ben Arbuckle, Brent Venables, whoever, told the officials before the game, this is what we're going to do. That's it. There shouldn't have to be any other further explanation other than that, to where clearly they knew this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it didn't get called. There's all this talk about, well, Hugh Freeze was angry on the sideline. Well, he's angry because I think he was trying to call a timeout. I don't think he was upset about the fact that they scored. I mean, clearly the head football coach hasn't said anything about it, at least to my knowledge. I don't think he's spoken about it since the game itself. So I do think the SEC putting out a statement, yes, I do think it's stupid, but I also think part of it was, so the Auburn fans would stop crying, which clearly that didn't work. I think the athletic director putting out a statement, as you said, 48 hours before you play another game,
It's crazy.
It's stupid. I mean, you are told and you're trained as a player and as a coach, and as anyone who's in this football program, the 24-hour rule. The 24-hour rule, 28, 48, whichever. The day after the game, that Monday, like, it's time to move on. It's a new week. It's time to get ready for whoever's next. Oklahoma's not thinking about the 10 sacks anymore. They're thinking about the fact that, I mean, yes, they got to go play Texas, but they're thinking about the fact they got to go play Kent State next weekend. Auburn's moved on to the fact they got to go play A&M. Now, I'll be honest with you, I missed the play because, I was in the stadium, obviously, and I was looking at something, and next thing I know, like, I thought they were still waiting for the play call, so I just kind of shifted my attention somewhere else, and then I just see everybody moving, and I saw kind of the north end, because I'm in the south end zone, I see the north end kind of start going crazy, and I'm like, oh, Isaiah's wide open. Literally 5 people around me were all like, what just happened? Like, we were really confused, and I just think it's one of those things where for the game as a whole, like, the teams did something they haven't done in 20 years. I don't remember when the initial 9-sack record was set, but I know it was sometime in the 2000s. Like, the defense was fantastic. They broke a record. The offense found some footing in the second half. That one play does not determine, because here's the other part of that. Auburn was winning the game in the fourth quarter. So clearly that one play, I don't think had any effect on the fourth quarter and the fact that they were winning the game, and their offense just kind of sputtered, and the defense showed up and showed out and did what they did on that last drive. So, I do remember them taking a sack away. So still technically 9. Either way it was, you still had a lot of sacks. Like, Auburn's offensive line was not very great in the second half. And obviously I think OU has the best D-line in the country. So I'm also a little partial to one side. But, man, I don't think that there was – I just think it's dumb that we're, like we all do, that we're just kind of sitting here still having to, calm people down and people saying, well, OU cheated. I don't think OU's cheating to beat Auburn. I'll just be honest with you.
No. Well, and I think to your point,
Auburn.
Jalen, you bring up a good point about they had a lead, right? Like, if you would have told Hugh Freeze, hey, look, you're going to have a lead in the fourth quarter at Oklahoma. All you got to do is either get a stop or go get a score. If you do either of those two things after you have the lead, then you win the game, right? You can either stop John Mateer from driving down the field with a broken hand, scoring on you, or you can drive that last play of the game. I mean, Jackson Arnold got the ball. Here you go, buddy. Here's your time, man. Here's your time. Go drive the length of the field, win this football game, and you're only down 5. 1 touchdown, boom, gets it done. Let's go. And he couldn't do it. So, I don't know. I also think that it's weird that play would be illegal in the first place. Like, fake a substitution, like, grow up. Like, it's a trick play. It's a trick play. But here we are. We're going to watch it, at least where the camera angle was. He had no doubt. They talked to him beforehand. Was not a problem. JP on his phone. This might be interesting. I'll tell you what. Jackson Arnold has had some looks about as wide open as Isaiah Satania was right there, and he missed him by a mile. Could you imagine if Mateer would have sailed this into the stands?
Oh, it would have been a mess.
I mean, I'm a little worried he was so close to the sideline. I was like, man, cut that thing in, man. Like the margin for error on that throw is increasing the closer you get to that sideline.
Yeah. No, so I mean, I just again talking about just the play in its entirety. It's not a. Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not as if Satania was like off of the field, like or like somebody was trying to come on. Like the ref was right there. The ref was right there. And I know this isn't the wide angle, so we can't see that. And obviously, Jalen, you and Trav, I know weren't necessarily like looking at it during the time, but like there are people that were over there that have mentioned like no, like he signaled to the ref. He signaled to the ref. So
yeah, well, that's the other thing too. Is somebody brought that up? I can't remember who, but somebody brought up that he signaled to the ref that he was on the ball. So, like in two-way high school football, they throw flags if you don't do that. Surely, in the Southeastern Conference, I think they would have said something. So they were aware. Like, not only did they have this meeting before the game and say that this is going to happen, the ref knew. Because obviously everybody was saying, like, oh, well, Satania kind of fake subbed. He fake subbed. Clearly not, because the official said, yeah, you're good. So the official had to look right at him, like, to be able to know this.
look, there it is.
I mean, it like that right there, just those two things in itself it just stops everyone from wasting time having it. It might have been Teddy who said that. I'm not sure. One of the podcasters brought that point up, but
yeah,
that
right next to the official, right next to him, pointing to him.
Yeah,
proof. It's just sick.
They're like, well, Travis, it's not that he was hiding from the refs. He's saying he was hiding from the other team. He's hiding in the field of play, lined up next to the official. How is that hiding from anybody? He's not behind a bush.
Right.
Like, he didn't lay down. Like, he's standing there.
Yeah. Let me see. I think maybe we got another angle here. So he's walking towards the sideline. The ref is literally right there. I mean, and not to mention the other ref. Like the other ref sets the ball, and then he goes back like that. We literally saw that happen.
Yeah, the ref knows there's no substitution, so he doesn't stand over the ball. Like multiple refs know that there's no substitution. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, but it's just hilarious that they're crying so much about it. Still, to this point, when it's like, man, it's even worse that we found out our quarterback had a broken hand and sprained knee in the first quarter, and still was out there. Again, was he playing like amazing? Not necessarily. And even before we knew that, like Gabe and Teddy were like, man, we could see something's off with him. But now the fact like that we have context and we understand what happened, man, dude is a dog. I mean, an absolute dog. Okay, let's.
What else we got?
Yeah, we got a few other plays here. One of the ones that I know, not necessarily controversial, but
Thank goodness. I know we had a lot of those.
We did. Somewhat controversial for us, but obviously the pick play at the end of the half, and this one made me mad initially because
Jalen, you're a wide receiver coach. Tell us what's up.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that looks like the concept. So I thought that was weird even in the moment. because especially as an OC, like before you even when you create your playbook, like you know what's legal and what's not. I mean, that's a legal play. I think it's just the fact that they ran into each other probably made the refs make that call. But that's another one of those things where I think that's something that does come up in the official meeting. It's like, hey, not only we got these trick plays and we got this guy, but we also got something that I got this on my call sheet. Just so you know, so you don't get us for this. I didn't agree with that call at all. I mean, again, like if that's the concept, then that's pretty stupid.
And that takes 3 points off the board too, because you're in field goal range.
Yeah. I mean, it's different if Satania literally like
sets a pick.
Exactly. If he literally sets a screen.
But he ran around.
Stands in front of the guy. Like he's clearly running around him to run his route.
Yeah.
So that's I didn't like that call at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's a good call by Arbuckle. I mean, it's a man beater, so
I hope he brings it back out.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, he was literally running a route. Like he snapped his head, and the dude was right there. I don't know what else he can do.
Yeah, because if you're talking about a pick play, I mean, it's those are intentional. Like you are literally trying, and I mean, sure on this play, maybe the play is designed to get Deion open. I don't know, but you've got two of your most talented receivers on one side of the ball. Like if you run a big play, you're usually doing that with a purpose. It's intentional. Like the guy who's setting the pick, ideally, he ain't running a route. So,
right.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty dumb as well.
Yeah.
Let's get to defense.
Yeah, I was about to say let's get to the man, the myth, and the legend, Mason Thomas, who obviously sat out all the first half. And
I'm so glad this wasn't targeting.
I know. Jalen, what did you think of this when you saw it live? Were you worried about it when you maybe saw the replay? Did you think they were maybe gonna potentially call something?
I actually didn't. I didn't think there was any threat for a potential flag. No, man, he's a freak of nature. I mean, you talk about a guy who, like, it's crazy to think OU was really last minute on getting him. I mean, he was a guy that, was headed to Iowa State, and Miguel Chavis sweeps in, and right as he gets on staff, I don't remember if he was the first offer that was made. I think he was one of the first offers, though, that the Venables regime made when they got on staff here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, looking at even as a freshman, I think he always had the potential. He wasn't very big when he came in, but he's always had that quick twitch to him. And I mean, he's a day one guy, in my opinion, not just because, like, take the crimson colored glasses off. Just he has all of the intangibles when it comes to being an NFL edge rusher. Like,
well, my thing, he's got production. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's what matters to me. Is like, it's like, can you play football? Like, can you rush the passer? Like, can you get there? And that's the thing. It's, I think early on, obviously, he had the speed, but he didn't have the power. Well, now we see in his other sack, the last play of the game, he told the rest of the offensive line, "Hey, how about you?" Or the rest of the defensive line, "How about you take this time off? I'm going to go get him." And he ran through a 320-pound tackle and a chipping running back and took down the quarterback. Like, the speed to power situation with him that's what is next level. It's like, Eric Stryker could run around dudes, but like and I'm a big Eric Stryker guy, but at the same time, like, Mason Thomas has another level to his game that NFL scouts will see and be like, oh, damn, he can take over a game.
Yeah. And that's the wave, man. I mean, that's the wave when it comes to edge rushers. Like, you think about guys that OU has had that were always kind of that same body type and that same frame. I mean, you mentioned Eric Stryker, and then After him, you had Obo Okoronkwo. Then after him, you had Nick Benito. And now you have an R. Mason Thomas. And then next, you probably got, you got somebody waiting in the wings. That's probably of that same, I guess, club as far as edge rushers. Because even when Nick Benito came in, I remember him being a pretty skinny guy, and
Well, it might be Okoye. Okoye is never going to be a 270
yeah,
guy.
exactly. That's exactly who that's who I was thinking of. I couldn't figure out the name I was thinking of.
Right.
And Okoye is one of those guys that everyone's talked about. Like, I think it was Teddy Lehman who said he might be the best athlete on the team. And
he's a freak dude.
And I don't doubt it. I mean, what is he, about 6'4", 240 maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that, man. He was like deadlifting like 700 or something like it. Like, I remember,
that's unbelievable.
Like I'm at the gym he goes to. Like, my buddy owns the gym he goes to, so I know his trainer and everything like that. And he's like, he'll like deadlift like 700 and then do a standing backflip at like 6'4", 6'5", 240 with like an 8-pack. Like, it's like good God. Like,
yeah, they got some creative players in that D-line room, man. It's crazy to think about the transformation. I brought that up to somebody the other day, the transformation of the defensive line room. And but I think it starts there on the edges. And I think, edge rusher is one of those positions where it does take some time. It takes development. I think that's why we're all PJ Adebawore fans, and we're still kind of waiting for his moment. But you look at guys like Taylor Wine, who, is a guy that got some burn a year ago, but he was a 3-star guy coming out of high school. He was a development piece, and now I think he's going to be an integral part of this defense for the rest of the year. So, same story with R. Mason, who got some shine early on, but like last year is when you started to see like this dude is one of the best in the country. And it was the same thing. Like I mentioned, Nick Benito. Nick Benito was one of the most underrated players in the college football, in my opinion, before he came out, and now he's the highest paid defensive player in Broncos history. And that took development. That took time when he got to the pros. So, like I said, I think R. Mason's a day one guy, but again, the NFL is a lot different. And I think he's one of those guys that's going to be, a player we talk about years from now as one of the best pass rushers in the league, because he's got the intangibles. But, you mentioned the speed, the power that he's got. And then it's crazy to me. Like, he's only 6'2", 230-ish maybe?
No, he's up in the 240s now.
Yeah, he's bigger than that. But
yeah, but my thing is, like, I think a lot of NFL GMs look to replace players. Like, they're like not specific on their team, but they'll look at who the best in the league is or whatever. It's a copycat league, right? It's like, if we want, Patrick Mahomes, he's mobile, he's this, that, and the other. Okay, we need to go for him. Like Josh Allen, he can throw the ball a mile, so we need to draft Joe Milton and there, Anthony Richardson, and we've got all this, that, and the other. Like, everybody copy stuff. I think Micah Parsons' success is very good for R. Mason Thomas's future.
100%.
Because he's like 6'3", 245. It's like, that's basically R. Mason Thomas right there. It's like, and you see R. Mason Thomas getting after the passer. It's like, that's what you're looking for. So I think Micah Parsons being one of the best defensive players, if not the best defensive player, at least, in the front seven in the NFL, I think that bodes extremely well for R. Mason Thomas draft stock.
Yeah. Like I said, too, like, being a Cowboys fan, it's the thing that has been clear. The entire defense is terrible right now, but the thing that was very obvious from day one when they played the Eagles was, okay, they look pretty okay at every level, except they don't have a pass rusher. The one they got rid of. So that's a really valuable position, obviously in the sport, but like especially in the NFL. You look at some of the best teams in the league right now, they've all got an elite pass rusher somewhere on the roster. Man. And I think it's that same exact model here at OU, except, I think you've got, off the top of my head, you probably got 3 elite guys, if you will. In R. Mason, Dominic Williams, and then I'll throw David Stone in there too after the starts of the year he's had.
Bro, David Stone's been out of control, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say, speaking of, we see these kind of last plays here that have been rolling through. That was just an incredible sequence. Obviously, John Mateer driving down the field to score and to go ahead, and then us to be able to get them in this situation. Obviously, they had a holding that had them get a little bit backed up, but then our defensive line was able to get after Jackson in every way, shape, and form. Right? You had David Stone pressuring him, getting a tackle and then a sack, and then you had Grayson Hall, friend of the show, G Baby, getting a sack, and then you had Art Mason, as Travis, as you mentioned earlier, just absolutely running down Jackson Arnold, running through the left tackle, running through the running back. They could have had Secret Service covering Jackson Arnold, and Art Mason would have found a way to get through. That's how intense he was in that last drive.
Yeah, it was big time. It was big time. When you have a pass rush like that, if you get them in obvious passing downs, then they're cooked. Like it's just simple as that, and that's why it's important for Oklahoma to continue to get into these hot starts. You gotta go into the second half of the league. Got to get them in obvious passing downs so you can unleash these dudes, let them pin their ears back. I mean, this hit by Grayson right here. I mean,
bang!
This is one of the harder hits, that he's gonna lay this year. I mean, he's got a full head of steam. He's getting a quarterback that's running down, and then R. Mason Thomas just says, "Yeah, I'll take that." Like, that's a defensive line that might be the best in the country. Ross already brought it up. I agree. I think it's the best defensive line in the country. But yeah, so I just looked up the weights and heights. R. Mason Thomas is 6'2", 249, and Micah Parsons is 6'3", 250. So for all intents and purposes, the same player physically. And I'm not saying he's exactly Micah Parsons yet, but because Micah Parsons has had success, a lot of people are going to be very high on R. Mason, especially if he continues to play like he did.
Yeah. I agree. We did want to talk about a little bit, obviously. We talked about Dr. Shin, obviously, and everything that's so funny. Jalen was mentioning that and how it's been coming across campus and whatnot. But, Sooner Nation, kind of woke up like it was Christmas morning today, guys. Waking up to some news that we flipped Cooper Hackett from Texas Tech. And not only that, I called Jalen, I called Travis on my way into school this morning. I was like, yo, did you see that? He said, oh, yeah, man. I'm talking to big guy right now. So I was like, okay, bet. He's like, we're supposed to get Caden Penny maybe as well. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, like down the line, like we're going to get him. And then literally not 20 minutes later, he's committed. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Like,
I should have been more specific.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, big day for Bill Bedenbaugh. I think it's about them finally giving him the money to. I think early on. Well, I know early on that NIL was disproportionately given to Todd Bates to build that, Jaden Jackson, David Stone line, PJ, like I totally get it. But Bill Bedenbaugh was like, oh, you can just develop 3 stars into 5 stars, right? Well, will you just go develop those 3 stars? And he was like, bro, let me go recruit. Give me some money too. And I think they've finally done that with him. I think they finally put some money in his pocket, some walking around money. They've given him some walking around money. So Bill Bedenbaugh obviously adds the top 2 players in the state of Oklahoma, but also 2 potential 5 stars. One's already a 5-star. The other one is on 3, has him as the number 34 player. So, yeah, I think and they're not done. Jackson Roper, they're in great shape for. He's 4-star interior offensive lineman. You want to know what they do with that other tackle side. But, I mean, this is an offensive line class that could every bit rival the class we had a year ago. So, I mean, when we signed Foje and Fasusi, we thought, all right, these are the dudes, man. Maybe, kind of like a quarterback, right? Like you only have so many left tackles, right? But, man, if they swung for the fences again, they bring the boys home. It's nice to finally get into Bixby. It's it was a great morning. I felt great going into the office today. I had a podcast hit I had to do at noon, and I had a big old smile across my face. And that's what's so crazy. It's like you think that OU fans would be in much worse shape given that their star quarterback just had hand surgery today.
Yeah.
Yesterday. You know what I mean? Like you think we'd be in much, but recruiting helps. Honestly, the Dr. Shin memes help, the mental health. I do think seeing Oklahoma State go down in flames helps. Like I just think that kind of stuff helps. And it's funny because I think OU fans have found it to be a bit therapeutic.
Indeed. Jalen, what are your thoughts, man, on the big news that the Sooners got today?
Yeah, no, I mean it's like you said, it's great for the morale of the fan base, and the Cooper Hackett thing is impressive because I think it says a lot about him to significantly take less money to come be a part of this and to want to be developed. I mean, I think that was the great thing, when Mike Fasusi committed because, the whole thing was, it comes down to OU and Texas, and anyone who knows anything about the NIL game knows, well, Texas is winning that battle. But, Mike is a guy who's like, man, I'm not here for the money. I'm here to get the best development, to get the best coaching, to go to the league. And then, obviously a guy with unlimited potential. And so I look at a guy like Hackett and, he takes less money to come be developed. And I think that says a lot about him. I mean, look, there's no doubt, he's 6'7", 270. I mean, he's got to get a little bit bigger. But obviously I don't worry about that when he steps on campus. You get two of the top players in the state of Oklahoma, which is a big deal for your program and for your recruiting. And I mean, it's like you said, Travis, it's good to finally get someone from Bixby because I think that's something that we have been terrible at the last few years is getting kids from Oklahoma to stay in Oklahoma. And specifically Bixby. I mean, now Bixby's always been interesting because they are obviously the most dominant program in the state by far. Yet they don't churn out Division I players left and right.
The system. Laura Montgomery's got the system down, and it's. I mean, to your point, it's the Presley brothers, Luke Haas.
Yep.
And then that's about it. I know Emory Snyder's going to West Virginia, but it's one of those things that it's the system, and it's crazy, Jalen, when you look at kind of the national rankings. Like Max Preps has them as like the number 2 high school team in the country, and it's like you look at the teams that are around, and it's like Matter Day, who have like 10 D1 guys. You know what I mean? Like John Bosco's got 10. All these dudes like Duncanville, who's got 10. You got all these teams that have just loaded, and all their guys are going to, Oklahoma, Texas, LSU, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon. Like that's what all those guys are. And Bixby's like, hey, every once in a while we get somebody to OSU, and then they're just beating the brakes off of everybody. Like, I mean, that team that had J.D. Drew, who starts at Tulsa, Micah Tease, who played at A&M, now starts at Tulsa, Gentry Williams, who starts at OU. Like, those dudes were all on the same team at Booker T, and Bixby wiped the floor with them. Like, you're like, dude, what? Like, they got a bunch of D1 dudes over there, and Bixby was like, well, we block and tackle here. So
Right. And that's the thing. It's amazing to me just how, like, football in general it's literally everything comes down to the trenches, and that's where these things are important because, you know, I mentioned earlier about the transformation that the defensive line went under, and like when that's why I think Todd Bates was the biggest hire whenever Brent Venables became the head coach because he turned that room. And I mean, I think D line has been the best position group OU's had for the last few years. I mean, even when, you know, our boy Jamar Kane was here and, you know, when Coach Tibbs was here, like you had Isaiah Thomas, Nick Benito, as I mentioned earlier, Perion Winfrey was pretty good. Like you had some dudes, but
My boy
like,
Ronnie Perkins.
yeah, can't forget Ronnie Perkins.
Man,
Like,
Ronnie took over Bedlam, and he was ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, oh my God, like it's crazy to think even on those defenses that, you know, weren't very good, that was the bright spot was up front. But you kind of look at it now, and it's like you've got, you know, I've said all year I think this is the best defense that Brent Venables has had depth wise, and it definitely starts up front because I think you could throw any four out there, and they'll be able to get the quarterback. And then you look on the other side of the ball, and I mean I still think they have a little bit of way to go this season, but you know, Bill's getting the guys in, and like everything starts up front, no matter where it's, you know, college, the NFL, or high school. I mean, again, Cowboys fan in me, you know, I get a little upset that we've drafted linemen in the first round the past 2 years, but then I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's been the best position group on the team the past few years,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing you brought up with Bixby. Like that's where they've been good is up front on that offensive line. Lord Montgomery's an offensive line guy. Like he was, for those who don't know, he was the O-line coach at Jenks for years before going to Bixby. So, I mean, to get a guy from your state, from your premier program in your state, like that's a big freaking deal. And I think for to have both of those guys in the fold, man, it's big because a lot of people have been, you know, I think Bill Bedenbaugh has been one of the most criticized coaches on staff the past few years just because of the way that things have gone up front. But then another thing people used to always talk about before Michael Fasusi was, well, the recruiting, the recruiting, the recruiting. You know, we getting all these 3 stars. Da, da, da. Well, obviously Fasusi's a big get. And then you bring these two guys in. Again, I think they're going to have to get, you know, I mentioned with Hackett. Hackett's going to have to get a little bit bigger. But other than that, like, it's a big time deal because, again, I think the most significant part is you got Cooper Hackett to take less money to come be a part
Publicly,
of this.
very publicly.
Yeah, I mean, out of the kid's mouth, he says like, I took a pay cut to come be a part of this. Like that says something about what people think. You know, we can say all we want to say about Bill Bedenbaugh. The only thing that matters is what the players in that position room think of the coach. It doesn't matter what we think.
Right.
We can sit here and you know, when times get rough, we might want to run Brent Venables out of town, but like those players will run through a wall for Brent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think it's the same way for Bedenbaugh. We can say what we want, but those dudes will it always goes back to the development. It always goes back to the guys that he's got in the pros right now. Like, so I think it's great for the morale, not even just of the fan base, but of the program for, you know, Bill Bedenbaugh to get these huge wins. And I mean, even just in the last few, I guess for the past year, when you count those two plus a Mike Fasusi, you've got 3 5-stars that were in the fold.
Yep.
For you, and then I know Foj wasn't a 5-star, but counting him as well, who's a big time prospect and who's gotten some burn so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing is I do still think they need to get it figured out a little bit, as the season progresses. But you know, other than that, man, it's big time. It's big time for the state. It's big time for the program. It's big time for, you know, Jim Nagy, who I think worked a little bit of magic as well. And by the way, big fan of him and everything that they've got going on with the new model. So it's a great time for sure.
Yeah. It's a wonderful time, gentlemen, to be a Sooner. We got Auburn tears, a little bit of Texas fears. I won't say tears yet. They acting scared though, you know.
Yeah.
John Material, man, he's out for 6 weeks. Tough. Okay, y'all hope so. But regardless, man, I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Hawkins play next week and looking to see how he looks. And who knows, man? We'll see what happens with the running game. I know Dion had an interesting comment about Jaden Odd, and I hope that gets figured out, because as much as we get called sunshine pumpers, bro, like if I don't see Jaden the next week or two, I'm gonna go off, because it's just unbelievable that we spent money in the portal for a guy that's not touching the field. It just doesn't make sense. So I hope so, for our sake. I hope so. But Jalen, man, it was so fun. Thanks for coming on, and apologize we're a little bit late and everything like that. I know you probably got class in the morning, man. And I gotta apologize to Kirby, because we told Kirby that we would watch his precious Missouri Oklahoma, I think 2008 Big 12 championship game. We'll do it next week. Okay?
Yeah, we can do it next week, because we won't have a game. We won't have game clips to review, so it'll be next week. Kirby, I'll make sure he does it. Don't worry. I'm always the one sticking up for you.
Okay, that was weird. I don't know what happened. But yeah, no, we'll do it next week. But Jalen, can you tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter, Instagram, everything like that?
Yeah, so Instagram, you can find me at Jalen M. Ross. Really just mainly freelance stuff, but just kind of keeping everyone updated on what's going on with the university, really, not even just the football program, but just kind of what's going on. It's kind of funny, ever since I've gotten on campus, everybody asks me, well, what's the student body saying now? So just kind of, I guess, being a voice for the students, if you will. And also on Twitter at Jalen Ross FB. Not as active on Twitter as I used to be, more so because of time reasons, but also because it gets a little crazy over there. So, but yeah, those are the main two places. But yeah, would be more than happy to see some of you guys over there. And I know some of my followers are on here watching now, so appreciate you guys for tuning in as well.
Yeah, go. There's almost 1,800 people in here, so like, follow, subscribe, all those fun things. Anyways, appreciate you, Jalen, for joining us. Always good to have you. One of the OU social media content creating media legends. So always good for you to come through. Good luck with the rest of your season. Hope you win a bunch of games and the wide receivers ball out. Other than that, JP, if you got nothing else, I know your light seems to be out, but we'll see you guys later.
Yep. Boomer.